Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought we would have a look at the other event vehicles that are coming over the next few days when it comes to War Thunder. We had a look at the WZ-141 yesterday, so now let's have a look at the new B-25 that's coming in, and also the new ship for Japan. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe, and also like the video. Let's get into it. The two vehicles we're going to have a look at today are pretty simple. They're very, very close to other vehicles that are around the place. The first one being the SB25J. This is a Dutch B25 that was used by them, and it's very similar to the B25s that are in the American tech tree, and also the premium one that is in the Soviet tech tree. This is going to be a premium. It's going to be at rank 3, going to be at 3.7, at least for now. Basically, right now, in Air RB and Ground RB, it's 3.7, but in Air AB, it is actually 4.0, and in Naval RB, it's 4.0, and Simulator 4.3. So, pretty much mimicking what we see from the other B25s, which shouldn't be too surprising. The major difference between the standard B-25s and this is in its armament. Even though the bombs are exactly the same, so you do get the 3-1000s on it, which would be really nice, especially if you want to use it in ground. You also get some weird and wonky loadouts too, because this thing won't have access to secondary armaments yet, but mainly you want to use the thousands, which, are going to pack the biggest punch, but you also do have access to 500s, 100s, 250s, and then also some, as I said, mixes of things if you want to go for it. The other part of the armament is actually different. So the bombs are exactly the same. The armament, though, in terms of guns, is very, very different. So on this vehicle, you have access to a lot of forward-firing guns. You can actually see here 12.7 millimeters firing forward. You have the standard ones which on the side, the 4 of them, but then the nose is very similar to the A26, so it actually has 8 guns in the nose. So that means firing forward, you have 4,800 rounds of 50 cal, which you can use. Now, these 50 cal belts, you can actually see here, they are the early war 50 cal belts. So you don't get the APIT, which is very sad, especially since I'm pretty sure this would have been used post-war. But yeah, you basically get the early war belts, so you can't have the APIT. You're going to have to just go for the other stuff. And then also on the turrets, you have exactly the same too. So very sad. The turrets are a little bit lacking. So this has a bit more offensive capabilities in the form of more guns on the front, but it has less defensive capabilities. It doesn't have the turret on the top of it. That's been cut off. So its main way of defending itself doesn't exist. It does have the 50 cals in the back, though, this turret here. And then it also has 2 on the side in the blisters. But the one cool thing about this top turret that's here is there wasn't actually a ton of ways of actually the plane getting in the way of these 50 cal shooting. So you could actually fire behind you and you would actually have 450 cals, which was pretty good at dealing with targets, especially since these things are also quite maneuverable. The major issue with it is there's no defense from the bottom, so that's where it's kind of easy to take out. Now, with this turret being gone, it's probably going to be easy to take out everywhere, which is kind of sad for the vehicle. It does have access to the R2629s, which have a lot of kind of power behind them. You also have the 2 pilots, so you can technically knock one and it will still live. So that's always a fun one. And also, it is a premium, so you actually do get quite a lot of nice rewards for the vehicle too. So you at least get that. But in all intents and purposes, it's a B-25. The extra offensive armament on the front is nice, but it's not going to make a huge difference for the vehicle because of the fact that getting the guns on the target is going to be the tough bit. The bombs being the same means that you're going to play it the same as the other one, so it's going to be useful in just kind of carpet bombing things or, hitting bases. But mainly the reason you take this thing is just to kind of grind through those early ranks of France, because there's a lot of damn squibs at the early ranks of France. And that's why the Benelux stuff kind of helps it. And luckily, we have another vehicle that joins that. It does have some other like little interesting differences. So, for example, it has this cool insignia on it. Another thing to also mention is they have made the crew French. So they are not actually just the standard American crew. So that's a nice little touch just to make it slightly different as well, even if it is a Dutch aircraft. The next vehicle is the Shisaka. This is the event vehicle. The event is going to be starting tomorrow for this, and basically it's a 35k event, so it wouldn't actually be that hard to do. This is very, very similar to a vehicle that's already in the game. You can find it here, the Sionen. The basic differences between them are very, very small. So first of all, this front turret here has a little bit more HP, and the crew is in slightly different positions compared to where they are on the Sionen. The other thing is they also did a bunch of fixes to the Sionen, which is quite funny. So both of them should benefit from those fixes, mainly down to the depth charges in the back and how they work. So if you want to kind of see what this vehicle is like and you don't want to kind of model it in, you can just kind of look at the Sionen and it will be exactly the same. So the general stuff about this, we don't have its rewards right now. It's rank 5, it's BR 3.3. It's going to be an event vehicle, so you will have to research out all of its modifications, which as you can see, it's going to take an age because Gaijin for some reason changed the way that you gain research in matches, but didn't realize that in Coastal, the way that you play Coastal is completely the opposite of how the research changes, benefit stuff. Basically, the longer that you survive, and it doesn't really matter as much how many actions you do over a short period of time. It's more about survival, more about kind of long-term thinking, but Coastal machines don't work like that. It's usually rapid aggression, going forward and doing as much as you can in a short period of time. So grinding this thing out is going to be a pain, basically, if you want to actually get it all done. This vehicle has access to 3 120mm. It has one in the front here. It also has a dual one, which is sat in the back. These guns actually have better targeting speed than I remember, at 13.6 degrees and 50.5, so that won't be a huge issue. And also, this turret here has a little bit of armor on it, but really not too much. This is the additional armor you have on top of the steel armor. Steel armor is a lot better than wood armor when it comes to coastal machines, which means this will have a little bit more survivability than other machines that are around. Still not a ton, though, and also this thing has a ridiculously large ammo rack. Now, luckily, nowadays, you can reduce the size of these ammo racks by basically taking less ammunition, but it's still insane how big this ammo rack is on this vehicle. Power-wise, it has 2 large engines. Technically 4 engines. 3 engines. No, 4 engines when it comes to the way it's set up. Also the transmission, the smoke funnel, which is very tiny. And also the secondary armament is a bunch of 25mm. Now, this thing used to be busted because armor wasn't a huge thing in Coastal, so you could use the 25mm to kind of annihilate anything because there were so many of them, and also you just couldn't sink this thing, or the Sionian, I should say. But nowadays you can, and the 25s are worthless. So I actually think this is the worst AA gun in the game. I can't stand it. I understand there's like 7.7s, which are completely worthless, but these give you kind of that illusion of use, but they are not useful at all. They're just terrible. The main guns do have access to HE and also HETF. So HE, it has quite a lot of TNT equivalent in it, which is nice, but no penetration. And since this thing is at 3.3, you're going to start running into the early destroyers, which have way more armament than you do. So they're just going to kind of cane you, which isn't very fun. Basically, this is going to be like a lot of these high-tier coastal machines. It's going to bully the coastal machines that don't have access to any armor, so a lot of the PT boats and a lot of the fast craft which are around, and then it will get eaten by destroyers because all of the destroyers at this BR are just basically them, but better. So, yeah, it's not going to be very fun, in my opinion. I think generally it's not going to be great, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will be the best thing since sliced bread. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.